Hello, collective. Thank you for joining me today and supporting my channel called Earth Angel Ashara. Ashara is my divine high priestess, which is the transition journey that I'm going through from Empress to that. Um, if that doesn't make any sense to you, then please check out my videos talking about there are 5 personalities within all of us, and there are several videos out there just explaining each of the personalities within me. Okay, so today, I'm standing in the personality of Asha. Okay, and as I've explained, Asha is the empress. She's the go-getter. She's the boss lady. She's the, she's going to provide, isn't she? She's going to provide for her family. So I've been up early this morning. I've been hashtagging it out in my office. And I've got some work done and I've addressed certain things that needed to be addressed. So, I'm buzzing. Okay, I'm buzzing. But I just went for a walk to go and post a letter, and while I was doing so, I was just thinking about a recent experience. Okay, so I just want to kind of share some stuff with you. Now, a lot of my stuff, in fact, all of my stuff is personal. Okay, I am not a chapter business kind of person. I guarantee you, there is less than 5 people out there in the world right now that can tell you what's going on in my life right now. Okay, because and 3 of the people are probably my own kids. Does that make sense? Or at least 2 of them are my own kids. So yeah, so that's how I kind of have my cards. I keep them close to my chest. So today I want to talk to you about intimacy in the 5D. Now you're probably thinking, what the fuck? Intimacy in the 5D? What does that even fucking mean? I'm glad you asked that though, still. So what that means is that obviously we know what intimacy means, don't we? It means coming together, connecting with people. I mean, if you look at the dictionary definition of intimacy, it's going to tell you that it's a close familiarity or a relationship, the intimacy between a husband and wife. And then it's going to say that the simile of it is a cozy and private or relaxed atmosphere, whatever. And then obviously at the bottom it says sexual intercourse. So when I'm talking about intimacy, I'm talking about I'm talking about see, doesn't just mean intercourse, because it's not just about that, but obviously the gist of it is intercourse. Okay, but I'm going to break it down, okay, because I think if I kind of go into it too deep at this stage, you're going to be like, what the hell is she talking about? So I'm just going to keep it, I'm going to keep it on the line. Okay, so intimacy as in sexual intercourse, okay, is what I'm going to be discussing with you guys. And then when we talk about the 5D, the 5D, I'm referring to the fifth dimension. Okay, so one of the, I don't know, Google definition of 5D is, it says living with unconditional love, which I think is beautiful, because to be honest, that is what it's about. It's about living in unconditional love. So it says living in unconditional love, no matter what, and and that is your trust, synchronistic, be synchronized, enough to guide you in your life with the restrictions of 3D and 4D worlds. And then it says, it takes guts, courage, hard work, deep understanding of how spiritual and material worlds interact, wisdom and divine inspiration to commit to 5D consciousness. Okay, what the hell? In a nutshell, okay, it takes guts, courage, hard work, deep understanding of how spiritual 5D and material 3D worlds interact, wisdom and divine inspiration to commit to 5D consciousness. All right, so this is what I'm talking about today, okay? I'm talking about intimacy in the 5D, and the 5D we know is an energy of unconditional love. Okay? That's what the 5D feels like. That's what you can feel radiating out of me, just unconditional love. And this is why I keep saying that there's no blame. Okay, there's no blame on anyone. There's no blame to my parents. There's no blame to my family. There's no blame on friends. There's no blame on relationships. We're just all reflecting each other. And the quicker I feel like the quicker I come to realize that, the easier things have become. Okay, so that's kind of where I am. So we know what physical intimacy is. Okay, physical intimacy is going to be you touching, you kissing, you spooning, you holding, you rubbing, you dancing, you know what I'm saying, you love making, all that kind of stuff is your physical 3D intimacy. Okay. What I've come here to share with you guys is that there is another level to intimacy. Okay. And that's intimacy in the 5th dimension. All right. Which is nuts. So if I bring it back to some kind of like my personal thing, because I said to you that I'm going to keep these 5 personalities going, okay, because they all respond differently to these things. Okay, so I'm going to say full disclosure, but I'm not going to lie. There's probably going to be certain things that I'm about to say, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to say that or whatever. And you're just going to have to respect that, to be fair, because I'm still transitioning and getting used to the idea of sharing myself with you. Okay, so hear me out. So, Ashtray, obviously Ashtray is my inner child. Okay, so her perspective on intimacy is not obviously in the intimacy terminology that I've just described to you. Okay, her intimacy is more around with her teddy bears, that feeling of safety, that feeling of softness. She likes the feel of like soft, woolly, fluffy things, you know, either woolly socks or woolly blankets, dressing gowns. She just loves soft things that she can kind of like, you know, bore down in, type of thing. So that's Ashtray's level of intimacy, and that's as far as it gets, to be fair. She ain't interested. Okay, and rightly so. Okay, so then you've got my divine masculine, who is Sasha, and her shit's up next level. I think I'm probably more shy about sharing. Shy and vulnerable. I'm probably more shy and vulnerable about sharing Sasha than any one of my personalities. Okay, because obviously, the personality that I very much give out into the public eye is, you know, my divine feminine or my empress. Okay, not many people have met Sasha in it verbally. Yeah, man, not people can tell you about Sasha verbally, but intimacy is intimate. Okay, so again, not many people can. Let me just shut this window quickly because I can hear the cars outside. Okay, so yes, she's probably the most one that I'm nervous about. So the gist of it is that because I have to kind of talk about them as they kind of came about, don't I? I can't just jump past Sasha and gone to Rosie. So Sasha, she's a dominatrix. She's a dom. Okay. Obviously, we're talking about Sasha is my masculine. She's my masculine side, isn't she? She's my divine masculine. So therefore, she's, you know, just in the very essence of masculine, you know, when we look at the name masculine and the energy that it embodies, we know that masculine energy is dominant, correct? You don't have a, you know, you don't call a proper man's man feminine, do you? There's nothing feminine about them. They are a man's man. They have that energy. So obviously, as a woman who now understands that I've got 5 personalities, this second personality, my shadow side, as my divine masculine, she radiates the same masculine energy as a man's man. There is no difference. It's just that I'm in a woman's body. And I know that sometimes I'm sitting down with guys, especially like if I'm, I don't know, in the hood. She's out there and she's chopping it up with the man them and then looking like to say, whoa. But she keeps up. You know what I mean? And she, you know, she does her thing. I think perhaps that's what's been really weird, because when I think about when I was growing up as a young girl, I used to kind of hang out with like gangs and, you know, whatever else, as you do. The boys in the gang, if you like, well, I think they always seen me as attractive. But because my energy was so masculine, I think it was difficult for them to come and step to me because she's so gangster and rude. Do you know what I mean? And she just be chopping down mans. She don't care. I said she's a ball breaker. She just breaks them down. So really, the way she goes on, she intimidates men. So the boys in the gang, you know, I'm telling you now, because realistically, the reality is enough more of them should have stepped to it than what actually stepped to it. And the ones that stepped to it, I'm like, are you taking the piss? Because the real niggas, they can't take the shame. You know what I mean? They're not coming over here because they know they're going to get it, and then they're going to be embarrassed, and they're not going to be happy about that, and then they're going to know, I'm going to know how they feel, and then they're going to feel like chips in it. So enough of that went on. So that's an example of Sasha's energy. It's a very, very, very masculine. So intimate, in terms of an intimate relationship, Sasha, she doesn't want to kind of hug and kiss and cuddle. Do you know what I mean? She's the complete polar opposite than that. She's the dom, like I said. She's, she's in some type of, you know, outfit, or she's always in heels. You know what I'm saying? Like, she will go out and she will shop for heels for the bedroom. Okay, that's Sasha. She will plan her shit out, her outfits, her equipment, her instruments, her whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Real talk. Full disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? She will beat a man up in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? She will have that guy up like a bitch, and he knows it. And to be honest, when she starts to kind of, put that energy forward, in Sasha's experience, men become the feminine very, very quickly. They automatically become the feminine. And I don't know whether, I mean, don't get me wrong, we hear of these men that, allow women to demasculate them and have them up in the bedroom, or have them up like that. And, we hear about these men that are, being dragged around or being made to clean houses by women that are doms and all this, whatever. Some of you may have heard about that. Some of you may not have heard about that. But to be honest, we're all grown now. I think the movie 50 Shades of Grey kind of just made everybody know what's going on. Okay, let's not pretend anymore. The difference is that Sasha was going on like that before the 50 Shades of Grey. She knew her shit. She knew what she liked. She knew what she wanted. And that was her stuff. Okay, so if you was in Sasha's life and Sasha was this particular body was exuberating that energy, you knew what time it was. Okay, so and a lot of the time people come into these things with a divine masculine like myself, and they don't know what's going on. But because the energy is so dominant, they have to quickly learn. They have to very, very, very quickly learn. So that's something that Sasha nicknamed How to Train Your Dragon. So this terminology came about from I was stopping at a girlfriend of mine's. We don't talk anymore. Like I said, snip snip. It's not personal, it's spiritual. And we were chatting, about, man's be popping off, Every woman perhaps has experienced intimacy with a guy, and he's just been unable to kind of hold himself, and he's ejaculated early. Okay, so I'm gonna say that a high percentage of women have experienced that. So we were talking about that. Okay, so I was saying to her, nah, don't you know how to train your dragon? So she was like, what? So we were laughing. And I was like, train your dragon? She said, like, what's train your dragon? So I started to explain to her what train your dragon is. So I think I'm going to do a separate video on train your dragon, because I don't want this video to be all about Sasha. Okay, so check that video out. So Sasha knows how to train a dragon. Okay, so as long as me and you are in it, and this is another thing I want to just make a full disclosure. I am a Scorpio woman. For those of you that are Scorpios, you know what I'm trying to get at here, okay? And for those of you who have been with a Scorpio, you're going to understand what I'm trying to get at. If you've never been with a Scorpio and you are not a Scorpio, then much of what I'm saying, you're not going to really probably connect with. So my advice to you would be experience a Scorpio, because it is different. Okay, the energy and vibes are just different, especially if it's a Scorpio that hasn't been traumatized, and especially if it's a Scorpio that loves you and respects you. Because if a Scorpio loves and respects you, you've got their loyalty for life. Okay, and they will be with you and only you, and that's not a problem. As I said, I was with my husband for 16 years, and it was him, he's the only person I slept with during that time. So even though Scorpions have a bad name, because our sign represents the reproductive organs, doesn't it? So, a lot of people say, Scorpions, they're very promiscuous, them love fuck, whatever. Yeah, they do. But more time with the same person. They're promiscuous with the one man. Okay. And I'm not saying every Scorpio is like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I can only talk for me. For me, that's me. I like my one man, okay, and I like a man that nobody else has had. I have to be first. I have to be number one. I have to be wifey. Okay. That's the empress in me. I know who I am. I know what my worth is. Okay. Now, I can't guarantee that any man is being faithful. Okay. But that's not supposed to be my concern in those moments. Okay. When I'm with my man, I'm with my man. And I'm extremely intimate on that level, especially when I'm Sasha. Okay. So, you know, Sasha came out when I was in my early teens, and I got with my first children's dad, and it was gangster. I mean, he's little, but he's Taliwa, but he had to learn quick time. Me, because I'm so masculine, I'm not into bad man. Okay, I've never been into bad man. So even though I rided with enough guys that thought they were whatever, they've never been my type. I like the shy type. I like the quiet type because again, Sasha's dominant. She doesn't need another dominant in the bedroom. She doesn't want to end up in a situation like Lilith and Adam, where the where they're fighting about who's going to be on top. She needs to know that the guy knows what position to presume when she tells him to. And you can't do that with men that are dominant in the bedroom or want to be dominant in the bedroom. Don't get me wrong, I've had men that are dominant and they're still my bitch in the bedroom, real talk. Because it's like that. But yeah, so growing up and obviously meeting my first children's dad, she got the opportunity, or Sasha got the opportunity to really explore what that was all about with a willing partner that was submissive. So, we took it to another level still. Shout out to the first baby daddy, I'm not gonna lie. That dragon was trained, you know what I'm saying? That dragon was well trained by the end of it still. I know he's going out there popping off. Women must be thinking, what the fuck? Because that man had some proper top-notch PDH fucking training in that facility. You get what I'm trying to say? So, um, yeah, for going into memory now, but yeah, fully trained the dragon. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of what it's been about in Sasha energy. Now, Sasha doesn't come out all the time. Okay, Sasha comes out when she feels that the environment is safe to do so. Okay, so for example, when Sasha met her second children's father, he was from a completely different generation. He's 10 years older than her. The whole perspective was completely different. Again, he's a man's man, so his energy was very, very masculine. So when we came together in the early days, and obviously we started courting and started talking, I met him at work. To be fair, he didn't work at the place where I worked, but so basically it's youth offending teams, isn't it? So there's different kind of youth offending teams all over Birmingham, but he would come down to the one that I was at, and that's kind of how our relationship started, etc. So obviously Sasha, she was already in that energy. Does that make sense? She was already in her dom energy. So when she met him, she's just walked in there, kicked down the door, pulled out some hand simmers, the wrap up bondage, plastic tape, started to wrap her man up. I say, started to wrap her man up, make him know, put him on a chair, wrap him up, can't move, dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? And when I've caught a glimpse at his face, I can see his face with like some rabbit in the head, like he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Like the level of intimidation was next level. And I'm looking at him thinking, what? What you're looking at me like, what's the matter? What are you looking at me like that for? So to put things in a little bit of a nutshell, because again, I don't want to kind of get into it because it's not just my business I'm chatting, but it was different. Let's just put it that way. It was different. And it took I think it took him a long time to get into it. You know what I mean? And to be honest, when I say took a long time to get into it, during one of my transition processes, because there was lots of transition processes where our relationship should have come to an end. And for many different reasons, I've gone back into the relationship and we've started the karmic cycle again. So even though it was 16 years of a marriage, it was 16 years and several different ascensions in that time. Okay, and I also want to do a video on what one of the main events in my life part in terms of the ascension was that led to the actual getting to that point where, you know what, enough is enough, man. This karmic cycle can't go on anymore. Something has to be done. And I'm going to talk to you about that in another video, okay? And that's called Cambo. I'm going to write that down. Cambo. So coming back to my second divine baby daddy, quote unquote, he just, yeah, it was a shock for him. It took him ages to kind of get into it. And the reason why I did get into it is because, again, during one of these ascension stages, I had a conversation with him and said, you know what, enough is enough now. I've been in this probably I think it probably was about 8 years, to be fair. Probably between 6 and 8 years, I'd been in this relationship, and Sasha's needs wasn't being fulfilled. And she was pissed. She was on a rampage. I'm saying she's getting to the point now where you can hear that tone. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you fucking come. You know what I do? like the tone. I'm a divine feminine, you know. Oh, you know, it's okay. But inside Sasha's like, what? Again, fuck this shit. You know, like she's on one, and then, you know, these things keep happening or whatever. And it gets to a point where you can't ignore it anymore. You're just like, fuck this shit. Asha, if it carries on, I'm out of this. I'm not sitting down in this. Okay. So I've sat him down. I've sat him down bare time still, but I've sat him down. And we're in the car having a conversation. And I'm basically just saying, listen, I'm done, you know. If it's not going to be about the needs that I've talked to you about, then there's no point of this for me. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, because money I can make, okay, business I can run. Does that make sense? I'm with you. You're my divine masculine. I can't get what I need from anyone else because I'm in this. So either you're going to have to give it me or I'm out of this. And I don't want to be out of this because I love this. I'm investing in this. I want to stay in this. Okay, so I'm explaining to him the situation and he gets it. And he's like, okay, then cool. And at that point, I'd found some organization, company, whatever, that do the dumb training. You get what I'm trying to say? So, you know, we're talking about this, and he's like, all right then. So, you know, this is what I'm saying. You know, Sasha's fierce. When she's on it, she's on it. So anyway, he's agreed for me to do this dumb training. In fact, he's paid for it, to be honest. He's paid for it. Yes, he's paid for it, Sasha said. Yes. So he's paid for me to go on this dumb training. So at this training, obviously Sasha's learned how to advance these skills in it, because that's what training is. I mean, you don't go on training to come out with the same knowledge that you went in with. You go to training to learn advanced skills. So I learned how to do proper dumb techniques in a safe environment, because some of it does not look safe. Some of it is not safe, and some of it certainly doesn't look safe, but everything is safe. Okay, everything is safe. And the reality is that the submissive is the one in control, because if they tap out, it's a tap out thing, and you know, it's done. Even though power looks like it's with the dom. But to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, power is with the dom, because no one's tapping out. Does that make sense? Because, you know, they're having a good time, aren't they? People don't tap out usually when they're having a good time. So the dom gets to do what she's doing. So I went on this training, came back, and things started to change in our intimacy. Okay. And therefore, Sasha became happier. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. There was teething issues at the beginning. So for example, the night of our wedding, big things. The night of our wedding, he's arranged this amazing suite in Thailand. We got married in Thailand, whatever. And we've got a suite already, But for the honeymoon, he's organised some next suite, petals, all the whatever. So it's all nice. And then he comes out with this, whatever. This is not going to full disclosure. He comes out with whatever he's come out with. Now I can't even full disclosure still, but he's trying to make an effort for me. My divine masculine is trying to give me what I need, and I love and respect him for that. Okay, because this was not where he was. He was doing this for me. Okay, and I appreciate it. I am aware of the good times. Okay, I really am. I'm not here to slag or put nobody down. I'm here to be 100% authentic. Okay, so he's gone out of his way to provide Sasha with her needs. Okay, but Sasha's pissed. Divine feminine is full of gratitude. Oh my god, she's getting into it, whatever. Sasha's pissed, because you know it's it, you know it. Sasha's pissed because the props that he's come with are not the real thing. They're like some plastic props. You know what I'm saying? So Sasha's pissed. Sasha is pissed. Don't come in the arena and not take shit seriously. Okay, this is divine masculine energy. It's serious. If we're doing something, we're doing it. Don't play around. So you can't come into this arena and say you're playing the game and you're coming in here with plastic props. Don't do it, rude boy. Don't do it. So a man's coming with a plastic police truncheon, whatever it's called, and some plastic handcuffs. Well, you know what? The truth of it is, collective. And no disrespect, whatever. I've just got to talk my truth. I don't even remember how that night ended. Okay, I really don't. I cannot remember. I'm just going to put it down to whatever was going on, the consciousness, just let it go, and the alcohol, because obviously we're celebrating. So between the alcohol and the subconsciousness, I do not remember my wedding night after that moment. I don't remember. Apart from these thoughts going around in my head, like to say, what the fuck? And that's it. If I knew it, I'd share it with your collective. Does that make sense? So I'm not sharing because I don't want to. I genuinely cannot remember. Even for myself, I cannot remember what happened after that point on my wedding night. Deep in it, I know, but whatever. It is what it is. So that's Sasha. She will train a dragon. She will assert herself. She will get what she wants, okay? And, before I met my husband, I met a guy. And after my kid's dad, I had a relationship for 2 years. I was 7 years with my children's dad. And then went straight into another relationship for 2 years. And then went straight into another relationship for 16 years. You know what I mean? So I have these patterns of wanting to be in relationships. But again, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. And I recognize where these patterns come from. Growing up where you're young, your parents split up. It's not what you want, is it? You want something different for you. You want something different for your kids. So you hold on to things because it's coming from a place of trauma, isn't it? So that's kind of what that was about. But, life goes on and you learn. So I'm not sure if I've skipped what I was about to say, but I'm just going to continue, to be fair. So that was my divine masculine doing what he could do for me. And trying to attend to my needs and Sasha being what she was doing. That's what I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you about my second partner after the kid's dad. Sasha went all out after that, her first long-term relationship, because obviously she'd been cocooned and whatever else. She'd been in this relationship since she was like 13, 14 years of age. And she's now in her 20s. Okay, so she was out there. She wasn't out there being promiscuous. In fact, my mum actually says to me, Asha, go out there and have some experience. And I was so angry with my mom. And again, this is an open conversation. Me and my mom have had this conversation in adulthood. I was angry with her. I was angry that my mom was telling me to go out there and be promiscuous. I was angry that my mom was telling me to go out there and sleep with multiple partners. What the fuck? What do you take me for? Why are you giving me that advice? Is that advice that you give to your girl child? Does that make sense? Because I didn't feel like that was the advice that you give to your girl child. So I was pissed. Like, I don't take advice. I do not take my mum's advice. Full disclosure, no disrespect, mum. I love you to bits and pieces, but my thing just runs differently. If I followed my mum's advice, I would have the life that my mum has. If I'm looking at my mum's life and that's not the life that I would choose for me, then that can't be the advice that I'm running with. Do you understand, collective? And all of us need to think like this. When you're looking at people for advice, look at their life to make sure that this person is able to advise you correctly. So, for example, they say you don't take marriage advice of someone who's divorced. You take marriage advice of someone who's been in their marriage 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, because they're going to be able to give you the recipe or the ingredients of how to maintain a successful marriage. A divorcee is not going to be able to do that. So that's the gist of it, isn't it? You get advice from people that qualify. They have the qualifications to give you that advice. I didn't feel like my mum had the qualifications. So the fact that she was telling me to be promiscuous, I was definitely offended by that. But as I got up in age and I continued to go into these long-term relationships and not having the experience, I now understand and love and respect the message that she was trying to give me, but I wasn't in a position to receive it at the time. Okay, and the message that she was trying to give me was that, it's a fairy tale message, isn't it? Sometimes you gotta kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. You know what I mean? And that's basically what she was saying to me, Asha. You don't have to sit down with the first frog and try and fix him up and train him up and do him up like he's a prince, because that's what I've done. I've taken frogs that are not demonstrating divine masculine energy. They don't understand it. They don't understand my goddess energy. They don't know how to receive all of this love and nurturing and compassion and just loving energy and abundance. It overwhelms them. It fucking overwhelms them, because they have to be like for like, don't they? And that's why I say the responsibility is on me. I take responsibility that I have ended up in relationships because I have wanted to see that person for a divine masculine, as opposed to that person just being a divine masculine. And when I mean divine masculine, I mean an energy match. They're coming from where you're coming from, instead of you're seeing your traumas reflected back at you. So you feel familiar, you feel a level of comfortability. So you're going to go in that relationship, when actually we shouldn't be going into relationships because it feels comfortable or there's a similarity or whatever. We should be going into relationships that feel energetically matched, meaning that you're in a room and you haven't seen the person, but you can feel someone has just walked in. Because we don't need eyes to feel energy. Energy is energy. It's all around us. It's within us. Okay. If your spirit take to somebody or if your spirit doesn't take to somebody. Okay. The person hasn't even opened up their mouth. The person ain't done you nothing. The person probably hasn't even looked your way. But you can feel energetically something is not right. Okay. Your spirit not take to them. That's the same feelings you get when someone is an energy match in a positive way. It's no different. And unless you're feeling someone on that energetic level, it's not a divine match, because energy is energy. You can't fake it. You cannot fake it. You cannot make it up. You cannot pretend to feel happy. Yes, externally you can present a persona to other people that you're happy, but inside you know how you feel. So as much as you're laughing and you're smiling, say inside you're breaking down, because you can't deny the energy. No matter how much you smile, no matter how much you pretty it up, you cannot deny the energy. It just is. Okay, so with my man, it wasn't on an energetic level like that. What I saw was someone who had 2 kids like me, had a house like me, worked like me, boss energy like me. Do you know what I mean? I seen that when actually having 2 kids, is a huge responsibility. I was going through the traumas of that. Me and the kids' dad had separated. He weren't doing nothing. That man's never given me a penny, full disclosure. No disrespect. We talk, we're friends, whatever. My boys are 22 and 20 now, so clearly I'm not looking a penny, but real talk. I've raised those 2 boys. I really have. And again, like I said, nothing but love and light for him. He was my first proper, relationship, and I learned so much with him, and we grew so much together, and we went through our trials and tribulations, but you know what, we come out on the other side. And I'm going to say I've got enough respect for him, because he come to me straight up and he got down and sat me down and he just said, Asha, I'm just letting you know. And he just said, it was me. I fucked up. Okay, I fucked up. I apologize to you. I apologize for not seeing what you could clearly see. And I apologize for not believing in that vision. And he came to me like a real man. He did, man. He came to me like a real man, and he sat down and had that conversation. And for hours, the joke is, we was in a club. It was his sister's birthday, so we've gone out, and he's come to me in the club, and we've gone into like one of the VIP side rooms or whatever, and he's breaking it down to me, and he's making me know I apologize, Asha. Love that. So that's been the journey of Sasha in terms of intimacy. So she's a dominatrix. She puts it on. She's all about that. Rosie, she's my divine feminine. Okay, she likes to be spooned and cuddled and caressed, and she likes it slow. It's very intimacy is very slow for her. It's very sensual. It's a lot of kissing. It's a lot of touching. It's some biting and whatever, but it's soft. It's sensual. Okay, when she's in her energy, it's just nice. On a physical 3D level, if I'm going to enjoy myself, and by enjoy myself, I mean experience a climax on a 3D level, then I need to be in Rose's energy. Okay. Sasha does not experience orgasms. That's not what she's looking for. She's looking for control. Okay. She's looking for control. She's looking for domination. World domination is what Sasha's looking for. She gets turned on. She gets a kick dragging a man around. Not even dragging, but whipping, whatever. She gets a kick out of that. That's her thing. Whereas Rosa, nah, she's not into them games. She's not into that game. She wants to sit down and she wants to take it slow. She wants to have a glass of wine. She wants to eat some fruit. She wants to have a conversation. It's in here. It's in here. Okay, it's in her head. You got to get in her head. And if you're in her head, that's it. She's popping off. Okay, but if you're not in her head, it's not going to happen. And that's why it needs to just slow down. There can't be a rush on it. So that's Rose's flavor. Asha, when I started to come into Asha as an empress, and maybe it's always been, I'm not sure, but she's neither Rosa or Sasha. She's in 5D. She's physical. She's a physical being, but in 5D. And what that means is that when Asha is having intimacy and she's in the physical 3D and she's feeling it and the energy is rising and he's into it and she's into it and she can feel his energy, he can feel her energy, and they're just about to get there. Asha's gonna Asha projected out the room. Okay, she's gone. It's like the energy, the sexual energy, it comes up and then poof, it leads to astral projection. So are we in there and we're going in there and it's nice and he's feeling me and I'm feeling him, and you know what I'm saying? It's getting ready and it's getting hot, and then boom, astral projected. Niggas looking behind it like to say, what the fuck? What just happened? What just happened? And I mean, it's dead. The body, the soul, the spirit, whatever, that's astral projected out and it's dead. And then when she comes back, it's like, what the fuck? The feeling's gone. That energy, that intenseness, and I'm talking intense, next level feeling. The energy, it's gone. I started researching the Egyptians, and the Egyptians used to do a lot of sex magic. They used to harness sexual energy, not even magic, but harness sexual energy. And it's the yin and yang. It's the 69. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's the theory. A man and a woman is a natural 69. Okay. So what that means is that, one, women have a vagina, obviously, and men come in that vagina. So the men give the woman the semen, the men give the women the energy. So she is the receiver. Okay. She receives his energy. Okay. The woman releases. That's why an orgasm feels like, I mean, don't get me wrong, a man's orgasm feels like a release, but the woman isn't spitting out any sperm, unless she's squirting, I guess, but whatever. But generally, it's a energy coming out. So it creates a cycle. The man's energy goes in, the woman's energy comes out. And the Egyptians understood this energetic cycle between intimacy and knew and understood how to harness sexual energy. So with sexual energy is very, very good for manifestation. And if you don't know that, if you don't know the word manifestation, please research it. If you do know the word manifestation, then I'm talking about using sexual energy to manifest. Okay, so that can be done with your partner and it can be done by yourself. Okay, if you are doing it with your partner, you have to make sure that you and your partner are on the same level. Okay, it can't be that he's thinking about getting a new car and you're thinking about getting a new house. Both of you need to be thinking about bringing in a new house. Both of you need to be thinking about bringing in money. Both of you need to be thinking whatever it is. Your thought process just needs to be aligned. Okay, in order for that manifestation sex energy to be able to work. And if the two of you are thinking about the same thing, if the two of you are calling down the same thing, while you're being intimacy, and then when you orgasm, you're both thinking about that thing, or you say the thing what you're thinking about out loud, you manifest things quicker, okay? Because things are being manifested anyway, but you can manifest things quicker. And if you're by yourself, whether that be your own finger or a vibrator, whatever, I personally think that every woman should have a vibrator. Every woman should be exploring her own body to know what she likes and what she doesn't like. And if you know your body and you don't like vibrators, that's absolutely fine. Does that make sense? Nobody said that they're compulsory. I just feel it just says to me, you might want to use the shower head. So too bad. But whatever tickles your fancy, the point is, I believe that every woman should be exploring their body to know what they like and don't like. So that's the energy around that. I've lost my train of thought. Obviously it's going to come back to me, but we'll just keep going. So again, this energy, the Egyptians using this energy to harness and manifest, it can be used when you're by yourself and you've got your vibrator. You do exactly the same thing. You think about what it is that you want to manifest, and you just focus on that. You focus on the universe bringing it in. You feel that energy. You allow that energy to keep going round in your body. You give that energy up to the universe, and it's an offering. That's what it is. Okay, so let me just call it what it is. It's an offering of energy. So enough people know, from if you're religious, you know that religions talk about offering. They talk about killing animals, sacrificing animals or people. They talk about putting out fruit, incenses. All of that is an offering. Sexual energy can be used as an offering. Okay, it can be used as a gratitude offering. It can be used as a manifestation offering. It can just be used for universal love. You can just give your sexual energy. You want to do something for the planet, and you're thinking to yourself, what can I do for the planet? I don't know nobody. I'm not nobody. I can't do nothing. But you can give your energy. You can give your energy anyway, but you definitely can give your sexual energy and just say, yo, universe, I just want to show my appreciation. Collective, I want to give some healing out there. So I'm going to just give my sexual energy out to the collective, to the massive, to the universe, whatever, to the divine, to your ancestors, whatever it is that you believe in. You can give them your sexual energy and manifest. Okay, so those are nuggets. So that's Asha. I astral project out my body. Okay, I'm in the physical, but I'm in the 5D. Okay, so then the 5D intimacy that I was talking about is something that Asha is experiencing now, that she's transitioning from Empress into High Priestess, which is 5D, isn't it? It's just pure 5D. So intimacy has become very different. No longer is she astral projecting out of her body and, just getting left high in the moment, or the guy's getting left high in the moment. Instead, intimacy has become almost non-physical. Okay, so what that means is that we don't have to be actually physically inside each other to be experiencing multiple orgasms. It's like tantric sex. Okay, the way that I've researched tantric sex now, I understand that that's what they're talking about. It's about the energy flow in your body. They're talking about 5D sex. Okay, and you can get into that by putting on tantric music on YouTube and just listening to the way that the music flows. It's very feminine energy. It's very soft. It's not no buduf trying to bash out the back walls or anything like that. It's not that. It's slow. It's that. So when you tap into that energy, it's next fucking level. You just busting after busting after busting after busting after busting. But energetically, not physically. Although for the guy, it's physical. So for him, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. He's already come. He's already come 7 times, but he's coming and he's coming and he's coming in the moment of coming. So imagine you've ejaculated, but then there's another a wave of ejaculation, and you're like, whoa, and then you're still moving. You're just moving around on each other. You're like, the body not even there, you know it. You get what I'm saying? But you're just moving around each other, and next you know another burst of energy, and it's ejaculation again. You're like, what the fuck? And it's like, I'm still coming. You got that? Like, me too. Me too, G. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You feeling this? Yo, I don't even want to leave, man. One time he got me, and you know, I'm in the bathroom. You know, we're just hooking up by the sink, and the energy comes on, and I'm telling you, I'm still at the sink. Just won't, you know, putting down a slow wine, and nothing ain't going on. You know, it's not in. It's not. Do you know what I mean? By the 6th, 7th astral one, never mind the physical, but by the 6th, 7th astral orgasm, you know what I'm saying? The body don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? The body don't know what to do. And again, it doesn't matter if it's hard. I get excited. It doesn't matter if it's hard or soft. It's irrelevant because it's not about the 3D. It's about the 5D. Okay? I experience more sexual gratification in 5D than I do 3D. Fact. Okay? When I'm in the 5D, it's nuts. In fact, I could be in the car sitting here and divine masculine sitting there, and the energy is just roaring. Does that make sense? And we're busting and not even touching. You don't have to physically touch. It's nuts. And I know for some of us, or you're going to be thinking, nah, that's not real. That don't happen. And that's fine. Does that make sense? Because like I said, I'm not here to change anybody's mind or convince anybody of anything. I'm here just sharing my story on a platform. I am a normal human being who grew up in Birmingham in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Went to, you know, went to the gangster school in Birmingham actually, but whatever. You know, I'm just that person. I don't pretend to be anybody else. I'm just me. And I'm just sharing my experience with you, letting you know that actually there is such a thing as 5D sex. And when you get there and you start to experiment and you start to experience what that is, you can't go back to 3D sex. And what that means is that once you are in that energy, anybody that you bring into that energy, even if it's not a divine masculine, doesn't have to be. It could be an absolute stepping soulmate. And I'm going to do a video on stepping soulmates, actually. Stepping soulmates. It doesn't matter if it's a karmic. It doesn't matter if you just, perhaps, I don't know, but I imagine it doesn't matter if you're smashing somebody the one time. It doesn't matter. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm experiencing some intimacy with someone at the moment that is triggering me. And that is because the universe has brought this person to me as a gift. I didn't go looking for it. The person did not present themselves. Basically, they're the opposite of anybody that I would be looking for in terms of personality, religion, ethnicity, just everything is different. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And the universe is challenging me because I've had issues around racism. I've had issues around, I've talked about these traumas that I've had issues with. So the universe brings us things to see how much have we developed on our path of healing. Okay, so that they will bring us opportunities, they will bring us certain situations, and you'll have to experience those triggers and go through it. But the quicker you go through those triggers and experiences, the quicker you come out on the other end. So I do not belong to anyone per se. I wouldn't say that there is someone who I'm saying me and them we've had a conversation and me and them are actually going to start building something together. But I am saying that I'm going through an ascension process, and part of that process is that the universe has brought me a divine masculine that triggers these traumas in me. and I'm triggering the traumas in him. And together we're working that out. And together we're experiencing we're experiencing 5D energy. Okay. So I know what that, I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like from my perspective, and I know what it looks like from the opposite person's perspective, because I'm currently with someone who understands what's going on and is able to share their experiences with me. So when I'm saying this is the energy I'm feeling, they're able to say this is the energy they're feeling. When I'm saying this is making me feel a little bit, they're able to say, well, this is making me. We're just communicating. We're able to communicate emotions and feelings, and it's a full disclosure without embarrassment or judgment. And if I felt a feeling of jealousy, I can say, yo, what you just said then, or what you just did, triggered a jealousy thing in me. Is that what you meant to do, or was that accident, or where was that coming from? And then even checking myself, okay, why did that trigger me, etc. And that's the conversation. That's the conversation we're having all the time. Okay, all the time, to the point where we'll say something and instantly laugh, knowing that that's going to trigger the other person, and wait to see if the person gets triggered and be like, so, you know, 5D intimacy is definitely possible, and 5D intimacy is definitely beautiful. And I would want every single person on this planet to experience 5D intimacy, because I think when you start to tap into that energy, you really realize that actually it's never been about the 3D. Ever, 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 ever. It's never been about the 3D. We've always been in 5D energy. There's just been an illusion around us created by the matrix society, whatever you want to call it, that has grounded us and kept us focused on 3D. Oh, you're mobile, oh, fashion, oh, clothes, oh, school, oh, work, oh, education. They got you on this conveyor belt of slavery, just constantly keeping you in 3D, constantly keeping us in fear, constantly keeping us in worry and anxiety, so that nobody's able to just stop and pause and try and step into that unconditional love, step into that energy of 5D abundance. And I'm saying to you that we are moving into a different cycle. And this cycle is about 5D. It's about universal energy. It's about unconditional love. And anyone can ride the wave. Anyone. So get on it. Get on the 5D energy. Stop watching people. Stop hating people. Stop resenting people. Let go of the traumas. Start to work through your traumas. Okay. That's the only obligation you have to yourself. Okay. No obligation to anybody else. So why are you watching anybody else? Why should anybody matter to you? Only you should matter to you. You are your number one priority. So within, so without. You give yourself unconditional love. You give everybody unconditional love. If you have unconditional love for yourself and you're not self-harming yourself, you're not being negative to yourself, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to start to radiate that love on everyone else. And that's what's going on for me. This is what's happening with this ascension journey. I've gone inside, started the healing process, learned to start to love myself unconditionally, and I'm in pamper. When I'm ready, you should see me in my bath with my Himalayan salt, my coconut oil, my eyelashes. Like, I look after myself, I rub me down. I take myself to a massage every single month without fail. I got a membership. You get what I'm trying to say? I take myself swimming, spa, gym. I look after my skin, my body, my temple, inside and out. And I do not have negative thoughts about myself, or anything that I'm doing. I do it with love and light. You know what, baby? I understand why you did that. I can see exactly what you were saying. And even when I'm talking to the 5 different personalities within me, there's no judgment, there's no shame for Sasha. She likes what she likes, and I like that she likes what she likes, because she bad. She better. She better than, there's a song in it, you look in the dictionary for the definition of bad, and then you, from Dexter Daps, I love that guy. You know what I'm saying? Singing for the ladies and keeping it real. With his pretty eye, but yeah, Sasha, there's no shame on her. There's no shame on Rosa that likes it slow. There's no shame on Asha that Astra projects out of her body just before she's about to go. There's no shame on Ashara, who's not even in the physical, she's in the 5D. And there's no shame on Astray, that's just not interested. She's shy, she's closed down, she's got body image issues and everything else like that. When she's ready to come out, guess what? There's no shame. So again, collective, it's just about love and light. Just keep loving yourself. That's all you have to do. You do not have to take on anyone else. You do not have to be responsible for anyone else. but I believe you do have to be, or we do have to be responsible for looking after ourselves and loving ourselves unconditionally. So collective, until next time, love and light.